video you're about to watch is an interview that I did with one of the technicians training with me. He trained with me for about 2 months. So this is an interview seeing and asking where he was at before, what he felt like he learned during, and how he's applying those things now. Hope you guys enjoy it.
All right, Mr. Daniel, you could give us a quick rundown on your life as a technician. This little
technician. I started working as a tech, let's say like 2 years ago maybe. Quick team. And transferred to the training team. Oh. Gotta restart that again.
Yeah, you can keep going. It's fine.
Okay. Transferred to the training team. After that, I got lucky enough to go to U summer team, and then a little bit with Virgo and my team, which is green team now.
Okay. In the time that you were on Orange team or Express team and with me, like especially on Express team, I know that you were kind of working pretty close to me, and it was always in like the thought process that you would come and train with me. And what were some of the things that you saw and that like interested you and made you maybe want to do that training with me versus somebody else?
I saw the way you moved cars like quickly. Trying not to waste a lot of time. I barely saw you eat lunch. Yeah, I mean, I was hungry just going in. It was like, I want to do bigger stuff than just oil change tires and brakes. I was just like, you know what? Like, I was like, if there's no work in quick team, I'll go to you. Hey, what are you doing? Ask you little stuff. I mean, you know, server team, the whole server team will be doing a lot of stuff, but it was mostly with you. Like, around there asking you, like, what you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then you put me like to work a little bit too. I tell Gerard, hey, can I be your crazy for a bit? Yeah, go ahead, go learn.
Yeah, I just felt like if there was opportunity to, if you're standing around, I'd rather give you something to do in, short term, even if it's only for 10, 15 minutes. So
you told me that too. I'm like, hey, if you got no work, come over here. I'll teach you how to money.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like some people kind of think that I'm like going to be like mean or I'm like standoffish or whatever, but I feel like if you're ready to learn, I'm ready to show you kind of thing. So do you agree with that or?
Yeah, for sure. At first I was like, he looks mean, bro. Because you were just on your own like little space basically. I don't know if I want to bother him. But then I was, go for it.
Yeah.
After that, I was just, hey, bro, it's worth it.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just started keep on going with you. Went to Virgo, Jose, wherever was over team. Mostly was you, yeah.
Would you say that the impact that I have in the shop goes more to than just the person I'm working with, or would you say that some of the people around me also feel some of that impact and that drive to do more and to do better?
I want to say probably the whole shop. The whole shop, it's just like they see you hitting goals, so it's like it's possible for people to if they put in that work and it affects. I say it affects the whole shop, but more effects on the person that has worked with you already.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's just the way that there's a difference between people just seeing it and people working with you too.
Yeah.
You know how that actually goes too. Put in that time, stay late, come in early.
Yeah, just putting in the extra work when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Even you think that even some of the time, like the negative people, like when people are like, being skeptical of what I'm doing or have something negative to say, do you feel like they receive that same type of like, go get them, like pushing, or are they more like resistant to that?
I say more resistant, bro, because not everybody's gonna be your friend in the industry.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have a little group of haters. And again, it's like what are you hating on? Like you just over there with you're fine with a couple hours. You're not putting in that work. Like from Monday to Friday, you hit 30 hours.
Mm.
Coming Saturday is mostly more work since there's less things working. get a few more hours. Like they're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like
They just rather
yeah, they
run
just
through us and learn maybe
Yeah.
how to make more hours for themselves.
Mhm.
Did you have any expectations about what you would learn or how you'd feel going into it? And do you feel like some of that upheld at the end of it, like even when you were still on summer team before you went like kind of on your own?
Yeah. At first, I was kind of nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Like with all the to be honest, all the negative talk like got to me. I'm like, I don't know this and that, but then I was like, I know who he is. Like started from like quitting. I'm like, oh, I started to remember that. I'm like, hey, bro, he's like the best in the shop. So I was expecting a lot, but not as much as how the things ended. I think I learned way more, like even like tricks. You told me multiple times. You seen me use hand tools. Like, hey, bro, don't be scared. Grab the power tools and then start doing it.
Yeah, you gotta learn how you use your tools.
Yeah, you're gonna break things. You told me you're gonna break things, bro. But that's how you learn. There's always fixing stuff, but you gotta mess up to actually learn. In the way.
Yeah, I mean it's like trial and error. You gotta try new things to be better at them, and then sometimes you learn and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I mean, if you bought the power tool, you might as well learn how to use it. Every power tool is different, so learning the trigger and like how it goes, and yeah, it's. If you had to isolate it down to one thing, what would you say the most impactful piece of advice or guidance that I gave you during the whole time we trained together?
Be I'm trying to find, like be able to multitask a lot.
Multitasking?
Yeah, multitasking and like being quick with everything you do. Basically, multitasking is like, hey, you're doing an oil change and rotating balance, lift up the car, take out tires, lift up the car, drain the oil or whatever. Then while the oils are draining, go out and balance the tires.
Yeah.
Or with a brake flush too. Just little stuff like that. So, the car can go on quicker. You can send your ASRs as well. Or sucking oil, sending ASRs. Yeah. Being quicker, just
being able to kind of be aware of what's going on and how to use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
Do you feel like I was able to, based on what you're doing now and based on what you learned, even when it was with Berto, do you feel like I was able to teach you like some more efficiency in production? Do you see what I'm doing compared to other people, and how does that do you apply that now?
Yeah. So I want to say I try to apply mostly everything that you taught me into what I do by my own. I mean, it's hard because, dude, I don't pull in as many cars as you do. But for every car,
should be like with each and every car that you're touching, you're following like a similar process and like efficient. Thinking of what's the best way that you can make the most money on this car.
Yeah, it's multiple inspection, really quick. Look at everything in the car, don't miss anything. If it's warranty, sometimes the item they're trying to upsell is bad. Even though it's in a warranty, I go ahead and do it. The way you taught me, hey, don't be scared of, upsell stuff.
Yeah.
You never know what can be approved, what can be declined.
From a customer base point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just got to send everything. You can't hold back and be scared to do new jobs. Otherwise, you'll never learn to make more money when the industry or the cars completely change.
Yeah.
This question's kind of weird, but even though you didn't choose to start training with me, it was kind of brought upon you, and then you might have wanted it, but how would you describe the value of the training you received?
You mean better?
Like, let's say you trained with somebody else versus training with me. Do you feel like seeing how other people are trained? Do you think that you would be in the same spot you are now and thinking the way you are now if you trained with somebody else or learned from somebody else instead of
If I wasn't going with you, then I don't think I would have known half of the tricks that I know right now.
Okay.
Multitasking, being quick, how quick you are, how you run things from starting the car, bringing the car, starting the car, and then finishing it. I don't think I don't know like half of those stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll have to find it by myself. Like
you feel like you see a lot of people wasting time on like things that you learned.
Yeah.
You know,
I see a couple people, yeah.
Like I would never do that. That doesn't make any sense. Type of stuff.
Yeah. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I think so. Compared to like the other training team,
yeah,
it's just a whole different perspective that it has.
And do you feel like you feel more confident like quoting repairs and doing your video inspections after doing some training and stuff like that?
Yeah, sure. Because I remember for every video I did, you'll make me like show you. Actually, that, but I actually helped though. I used to stutter a lot. I used to not even know what to say, like on the videos.
Yeah.
I'll ask you a lot for the videos. Like, hey, what do I say?
Yeah.
Like, you would just tell me, and just from that, I learned it's just repetitive. So you making me do the videos again. Like, hey, car's running, you can't even hear yourself. Do it again.
Like practicing or being like holding yourself accountable, or in this case, me holding you accountable for those videos. Then you can, making sure you're sending a good video, and then what has it been? About a year. So I'd say now you're able to send good videos for yourself, and you've come a long way since when you started. Would you feel like you've made significant progress just by yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, especially on the way you tell me how to write the ASRs, being as neat as possible, and then the videos too, and go straight for the concern that they came in for, and after that, throw in the episodes that you want.
Yeah, just like focus on the important stuff. But some people will focus on the maintenance items, and it's like you're not going to make your most money on the maintenance items. Like, why are you talking about like a power steering flush or a brake flush when they have a coolant pump leak or oil leak? It's like focus on what's important, even if you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like after training with me that as a technician you hold more value than some of the other people in the shop near you, just based off the training that you learned? Like your value as a person, what you think you're worth, what you think your time and your hourly rate is worth? Do you say you feel like that just compared to the people you're working next to, or if you really thought about that?
I've never really thought about it, but you asking that right now, maybe a little bit,
Like you see some of the guys that like have worked near you that didn't train with me or were put into flat rate before you, and you see some of the things, even some of the older guys that you're maybe like, whoa, like Curtis didn't show me this or Curtis didn't show me that, and I feel like maybe just based off efficiency and making the most hours as possible, do you feel like your value as a technician would be greater or less than some of those other guys?
I say greater than, because like the things you taught me compared to like, hey, you gotta do this way, and you gotta take this off, you gotta take this off. But the times I've been with you, you taught me multiple times like, hey, you don't have to be taking this off. Just show me the tricks. Like, hey, go right here, you're gonna take this off. A few things more than just through like the repair manual, you have to take a lot of things off, like shortcuts basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of shortcuts.
I feel like sometimes I try to push for like creative thinking. Just like when you're doing a repair for the first time, it's obviously going to be the slowest time that you've done that repair unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
Referencing the repair manual if you need to, but once you're on time 2 or 3, you should be actively looking for ways to do that repair a little bit faster. Yeah. And you find yourself doing that now?
Yeah, I want to say for the 4-year coolant pump treatment. I've only done that one time with you, or I think 2. I don't remember, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so, definitely over a year ago.
It's like just a refresher. I'm like, but after doing it, after already taking all the stuff out, like those little things that you taught me to be quicker with it, like that's when it brings helped out. Okay, now I remember this.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like the procedure and that state of like thinking is still sticking with you.
Yeah, like you said, once you do it more than one time, it's like even if you haven't done it in a while, I feel like it's still in the back of your head.
Yeah.
When you start doing it, yeah, I remember this.
You find it like negative behavior and negative ways of fixing cars, and do you feel influenced by that, by sometimes by the people around you? Do you feel like their complacency rubs off on you, or do you feel like you're kind of
Sometimes yeah, but then I see it's like, hey, like I wouldn't want no other technician. Like if I brought my car to the shop, I wouldn't want no other technician. Like, hey, well, them doing a bad job, leaving the car worse than what it came in. Like, so I just I want to say now, like I want to say like probably a few times, but after that, I was like, I've actually pulled the car back in and like, hey, I want to do this shit right.
yeah, not worth
It's not worth like I want to say it feels like I'm scamming the customer basically, which is what I don't want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to keep the car better than when it came in.
Yeah. So you're definitely taking initiative to do things right, make sure it's fixed right and cleaned up, it looks nice, and you're not taking any shortcuts just basically because the guys around you might be doing that.
Yeah.
Like you're taking shortcuts in a way that doesn't affect the customer
Yeah.
in like a negative way. Besides multitasking, if you were to look back and on the time we spent together, what do you feel the biggest benefit of training with me was? Not just something that you can physically apply to like multitasking, for example. I mean, was it something about your way of thinking? Was it something about being a technician and your approach to every day, or even stuff maybe at home in just your life? You just feel like maybe there's something that you learned from me outside of multitasking that benefited your whole life?
I want to say you have affected like a lot as being a technician. How to be more efficient, of course, faster. But through life, it's like you've talked to me. You've talked to me multiple times about like I don't say your problems, but like stuff, little things that have bothered you. And the way I saw it is like if you're feeling some type of way, if you're not feeling good at work, I mean, I was been having a bad day, just go talk to somebody. Just go like talk to somebody. Because you never know, like they can actually help. Make you laugh. That can make your whole day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like little stuff like that. So it's like I'd be going over there, going talking to you sometimes. Everybody else I was talking in the shop. I just go distract myself from work.
Sometimes it's okay to take a step back and really kind of just, if you're having a bad day, just kind of, you need like a boost so you don't ruin your whole day.
Yeah. And just the way like you see like your mentality basically. I feel like you've taught me how to like have a strong mentality. Even people have told me, hey, you're gonna have bad days, but you can't let that affect you. You're gonna mess up on the car, but you can't let that affect you. You can't let that affect you in the long run, basically.
Yeah, just having like if you mess something up or you make a mistake, is being able to like learn from it and realize that, hey, like I probably shouldn't do that again, or I should probably be more careful or aware of what I'm doing so that doesn't happen again. Like I said, like bad things do happen to everybody, and mistakes happen, and no one's perfect. So just being able to like not like to forget it, but like let's fix it and then let's move on, so we're not sitting there dwelling on like the negative of it.
I found myself having bad days and just like sitting down and doing nothing. And then like Adam has told me, hey, like don't worry about it. There's always tomorrow. I mean, then the next day I need like 10 hours, 12 hours, but it just boosts my my like the way I think of the tech life basically.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like even though he's having a hard time, he still has some of that stuff that I taught him about.
Yeah.
Just putting your best foot forward, and
Uh,
and that, I'm glad to see that sticks with not just you but him too, especially him.
Mhm.
Um, how would you say that the experience of your training has improved your mindset and skills towards growing in your career? Like the outlook on what's to come, and instead of what you're just doing now, do you feel like maybe you've, or something that we've talked about or discussed, or see something you've seen has opened the door for maybe what's possible in your life as a technician or your career as a technician?
I want to say you open a lot of things up for me, seeing how you work. So basically, like how many hours you hit.
Mm,
You hit crazy amount of numbers, like a lot of people probably don't believe,
yeah.
but it's true, right? It's true. Not only whenever you're working with me, it's not even like working whenever you're working with someone else. Yeah, of course, they help you a little bit, but those times where you've been by yourself, or there's times that you stop working with somebody, which is not so long ago, that you're like, hey, sometimes I just gotta remind myself, like who you are.
Mhm.
Just put in your headphones, start working. So that's really helped me like believe in myself basically, where I can be like, hey, if you put in those hours, you can't throw some amount of hours. Probably not even close to it,
Well,
but
it's taken
Yeah.
14, 13 years, whatever, 15 years, but
I want to say like especially like those little prizes you get.
like the incentives through work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's some dealerships, including ours, that do a lot for like incentives and stuff like that, and I think that's a big motivator too.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes down to it, is like how can you motivate yourself too? Because those incentives are available to 700 other people, and there's not everyone at the top of that 700 people either. So
Yeah, I mean, I've seen like other people do it too already. You got an example like Isaac. He's pretty young, I say. He's done it, so it's like,
do you feel like that we're talking about influence in the shop? Do you feel like the things that I do and things that I've said, and even like, imagine him and I, we definitely don't talk every day, but do you feel like he's benefited from some of that just by being around and looking at what I'm doing and paying attention to what I'm doing, him and some of the other guys?
yeah, I would say that for sure. I mean, he's told me about it again, he told me not too long ago he remembers one thing that did stick by him is you telling him about try to what was it? Try to do the work that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's like warranty stuff. A lot of people don't want to do warranty stuff, so be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can get more money. The warranty stuff that a lot of people don't want to do, you're already good at it, so just take it, make your money with that.
I mean, it's like evaporators. 3 or 4 years ago, no one wanted to do evaporators, and now everyone's learning them because if I showed him an easier way to do it, and now he's like, oh, let's do it that way. But I mean, that standoff of that exact mindset is just being like, even in coolant intrusions. I was doing coolant intrusions 3 years ago before it became a thing, and no one wanted to deal with that. It's like, well, you see the trends and you got to attack them, because then now I can do them in 3 hours. And it's like, well, there's 8 or 10 hours depending, and it's just that whole mindset. How do you feel that the training that we went through into some of the things that kind of set up in a dealership, and how do you feel like that's helped inspire like a formal program? I'm trying to make this into more of just like a casual training. Like, how does it make you feel that some of the things that we talk about and that I taught you inspired something bigger?
Bigger by
Like, just to take it outside of the dealership and make it into like a formal program that I can share with more technicians than just the few that I've worked with.
I want to say it'll be worth it. It'll be worth the other person's time. Of course, it's hard to believe someone just talking in the internet through your phone, but I feel like the people that are gonna be next to me over here, like talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they'll say the same thing because I've talked to multiple guys that I even work with, and they say the same thing. Like, oh yeah, Curtis taught me this way,
Yeah.
or do stuff like that. But I feel like it would be worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because like not only to enrich your life, but you've mentioned like in life advice, stuff like that. I mean, you have kids, your schedule is very flexible.
Yeah.
So I feel like it'll be worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah, so it's definitely what some of the things that I say on my videos and the internet and in my posts. You feel like that's the truth.
Yeah.
Like I'm not fitting or making stuff up. That that some of the things that I'm trying to teach and show people they do work and they are true.
For sure. I've seen multiple videos of you like, hey, having a bad day. Go outside, you distract yourself from work. You don't have to. If you have to leave early, but just leave early. Just come in tomorrow early morning, start a fresh new day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you have a lot of experience that you can give out to the techs.
Yeah.
Just in life in general, being a tech, being quicker, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's anything that like this isn't really but is there anything that you feel like you wish you would have learned more about, or maybe that I could have taught you differently, or wish you got more of?
I wouldn't say taught me differently, but more of like the email work.
It's like
More
AC,
AC
or
work.
like a specific job.
More AC work though. Like you said, diet. I'm still learning that. I feel like everybody, like you said, not everybody's perfect at diet, but if you don't give yourself, sometimes you just gotta go with whatever you're doing, like the test banana or whatever. Well, yeah, the more AC work, diet, I'm starting to get into. But yeah.
I feel like diag is one of those never-ending learning curves. Like you're always just learning new diag. Like either the scan tool, the service bulletins, whatever. It's always like there's more diag to be learned. The cars are getting newer, technology's changing. I think it was just bad luck. We worked together for a few months in the winter time, so we didn't really have opportunity to do evaporators. But
now that you can not like saying that you taught me like in a bad way. I feel like everything you taught me was like good.
like there's nothing like you aren't like, questionable where like questioning your ethics or questioning like is this shady or anything like that.
Yeah, like you've I always say like you've dumbed it down basically to like where you're explaining to a little kid, like say I've been lost multiple times working with you, and then you're like, hey, this how this works, or this is how this goes. So I just want to say like you really know how to explain like everything, like the world, whatever and at least you try to help with anything you can.
Would you say that if someone is, I mean, I've worked with someone specifically, but let's say if I was working with somebody and you could tell that they weren't maybe giving their full effort into learning, that affects the amount of information that they retain.
Yeah, like I mean, of course, if you, I mean, never gonna say that I did like I took advantage of learning from you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say someone going in early, staying in late, compared to someone just goes from 7:30 to
Just a minute.
as soon as that 5 hits, you're out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what like you don't get to experience like what basically you're going to do. So like going in early, starting your work hours early, so you can get more of those hours. Staying in late, so you can finish your car that same night. Or just test drive it too, or test drive it in the morning. But like they wouldn't get the full experience that one that's hungry will want to get.
Would you say that even if someone worked, like say their specific hours and they didn't kind of go in early or stay late because some people don't want to do that,
Yeah.
and that's fair. But just the mindset of like, oh, I'm working with this person, maybe I should like pay attention a little bit more and do like try to remember things and apply those things rather than just kind of being along for the ride.
Yeah.
Like, do you think having like a learning mindset is like helped you more than some of the other people you've seen where they've been more like casual about it?
Yeah, I feel like going in with an open mind on everything, you don't come like you know what you're doing, bro. So have an open mind and take advantage of that because a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people just get thrown in the shop and be alone. Yeah, of course you get some help, but being with you, being open minded, and finishing with you, like you have a lot of information that a lot of people don't have. So I feel like that really helped me as well. But yeah, so I just want to say being open minded, and if you don't have that hunger, I guess, and it'll be worth it. But at the end of the day, you won't get everything that you were wanting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like taking the information and really focusing on sucking it in and retaining it rather than just being like, oh well, this is cool.
Yeah, this is cool, but yeah, just try to get all the information, be open minded about everything.
Yeah. Is there anything that maybe I haven't asked you that you feel like that you'd want to talk about and maybe put out there for other people who would want to learn or other people who are interested in working with me, that maybe like a piece of advice or just anything that I haven't asked you about you can think of?
I would say ask as many questions as they want to. Yeah, because I feel like that's the thing that I didn't do. It's ask a lot of questions with you, because the way like my mindset was like, hey, like, you're gonna be on your own soon, so try to do it like by yourself instead of asking a lot of questions. But at the end of the day, like not regret, but but at the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I should have asked more questions with you. But yeah, I don't think nothing else that I'm thinking of right now. No.
Do you have any random thoughts or questions, for me, and kind of what kind of I'm doing outside of what's at work and like my mindset behind the whole thing? Anything that we haven't already talked about, like at work or something, just maybe.
I mean,
I didn't prep you for any of this or anything, so it's just you need some time to think
I
about it.
was gonna ask you, like, how do you go about like having a like? I mean, you've probably never had this in a while, bro. But like, how do you go from like having like a bad week from like 30 hours to like dragging yourself to come in Saturday to get those 10 hours, 20 hours extra?
So how do I like just having a bad week and then like trying to salvage it at the very end?
Yeah.
I mean, I had that actually quite a lot in November. Specifically, it was like I have like these hours are different than what you mentioned, but having like 50 or 60 hours into a Friday or into a Thursday, and I'm just like I look at my spreadsheet where I have all my hours and I'm like knowing what I have in the chamber and knowing what I need to hit. Like if I have any tickets of potential upsells, like I'm reaching out to the advisors. Like, hey, have we heard anything on this? If there's any like tickets in my screen that maybe I haven't looked at or I need to look at, like getting that all done as soon as possible, like getting those like approvals or those yeses or nos early in the morning or even the night before. That way that work is potentially ready to go sooner. And then just like I come in the next day and I'm like, okay, like I need 30 hours today. Like that's a tall order, but just keeping in mind that I've done it before, and if the work's there, I can get it done. So just making sure that I'm taking the opportunity to maximize every car, look through every car, do it as fast as I can, stay off my phone, don't talk to people. I mean, with this whole coaching thing, I've found myself on my phone more than ever, and I see it all the time. I see myself and I'm like, man, I'm just on my phone all the time. And so I struggle like Thursday and Friday have become days where I'm not on my phone because I'm catching up from being on my phone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I find myself making over half of my paycheck for a week in 1 or 2 days. And so, I mean, it's exactly like just going into that with like a killer mindset and just being like, I need to make these hours. And if I don't, like, that's not the end of the world. Like, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
But just making sure that I'm doing everything that I can, everything like that's available to me, taking advantage of that, communicating with the advisors. If I'm waiting on like a big upsell and it's like whatever 10 hours, I'm like, well, will they do it for 8? Like I'm like arguing, like and not arguing, but like kind of I'd rather get 8 hours than 0 hours. So like kind of just going out there and what can I do as a tech to get that work approved? What can I do as that tech to get that work started? And just kind of doing that and shutting out all my distractions for the day. I feel like helps me pull out what I would say is a bad week and turn it into like an okay week. But also then the next week, it's like making sure like this is a whole new week. This is a whole new Monday. There's a whole new set of cars coming in. There's a whole new set of customers. And it's just like, it's new and just compartmentalizing each week and trying to think of the bigger picture of like the bigger picture being a month, the bigger picture being a year. It's like, where am I at in comparison to that? Because bad weeks and bad days, bad months, that all happens. It's just very rarely are you going to have a bad year. It's just too many days for it, you know?
Also, how do you go without like comebacks? Because I feel like I want to say I don't get it like a lot, but I've gotten a few that
I've been struggling with comebacks. You say that, but since I've been doing my videos, my head is all over the place, and like I'm thinking about stuff that I'm not working on, and I've been having a little bit of an issue with some comebacks, and it's like stupid stuff like a plug or like a nut on like a connector over the ground, and it's dumb stuff. And so I'd say limiting distractions. Like if I'm not doing videos, if I'm not trying to do this coaching content, I'd say like comebacks are far and few in between because I'm double checking everything. My process of like going back together is like I'm making sure that I tighten it down with my like electric ratchet and I'm putting a ratchet on it and I'm making sure that I don't mark every bolt that I've touched. I mean, that's a good idea. I just don't do that. Torquing every bolt, I'm not going to say I do that either. But just making sure that I'm touching every bolt at least twice, visually looking at it as well as like touching it. And then quality checks are important too, like actually test driving it and actually checking it over, bringing it back in, looking at the leak or the suspension component. Don't be like, oh, well, maybe that was there before. Like if you hear like, if you did outright towing or something, you hear like a weird knocking, or like they were like, maybe that's there before. Like it might have been, but chances of you knowing that are pretty slim. So like just pull it in and check it. Steering wheel's off center. Don't just ship it and think that the customer's not going to notice. Like just it's going to save you more time in the long run. Like if you have an issue, test drive it. You should just deal with it then because you don't want to have to pull that car in and then whatever team it went to is like, well, this goof just had a comeback, and then you have to worry about them sending it to you. Who knows? So it's something that I used to be very bad with comebacks when I worked at Toyota. Like I would have comebacks all the time, and so I think one of the biggest things for me moving to Cali was just being more efficient with the way things come together and the way they go back together, and then double checking them as they're going back together, and just making sure. Like with the seals, like I use that sealant, the blue sealant on all the O-rings. I was having issues with O-rings for like one car specifically like 3 or 4 times in a row. And then I talked to the shop foreman, Robert, and he's like, oh, try this. And then ever since then, every O-ring I touch has that blue stuff on it. Like that's preventative thinking. Like I'm not trying to take that chance for that O-ring. So like, I'm like, okay, this blue stuff, it's just like a tacky sealant, helps everything seal. Also, it acts like a lubricant. It's just like planning for that, like planning for stuff. If I've seen something, if I have did a breather valve in the car and I've been having issues with the fuel injectors leaking going back together. Well, now every time I quadruple check my fuel injectors, I make sure the seals are like secure, the O-rings are secure, I lubricate them, I push them in, I test them before I put the supercharger components. Like I've had issues with that before, and then taking the extra step and learning from that, doing it and implementing it every time. So. This is
how do you go about like pretty sure it's very stressful, but like from hitting 600 hours in a month and like testing because you have a family and wife, like kids, 2 kids and a wife. Like how do you balance all that in the gym too? Like I feel like that's a lot.
It's definitely handful. I mean, this coaching stuff has not made that any easier. I think first off is communication. I think just communicating with my wife and making sure she's aware of what I'm doing. I know that sometimes it does stress her out and she does get overwhelmed. And then it's time for me to realize, okay, I maybe need to do a little bit, I need to work on my balance. But I think also prioritizing my focus, like the gym's important to me. I know I feel so much better going to the gym. I've also, this coaching thing is important to me. While making money is important to me, it's just prioritizing. So lately I've been working my schedule and that's it. Balancing everything, trying to use my time more wisely when I'm at work. I'm making sure that I'm doing everything every minute. I'm trying to apply that to work. Like there's barely any downtime. But it is hard. Like I do find that if I'm putting more work in somewhere else, there's something else being sacrificed, whether it's sacrificed here at home or sacrificed at the gym. Sacrifice, something has to give. It's near impossible to be the absolute best at what you do, but then also to like have a perfect balance of your life. Like you're not going to have like, oh, amazing family time and home time and amazing like work hours. Like it doesn't work like that. I think luckily she knows exactly how I am and she knows that I have this crazy drive to be the best and make the most money, but also she knows that we have to have money to survive. And so it's hard. I wouldn't say that it isn't. I feel like I'm losing my hair because of it. But I think it's just natural. However, it's just I've been doing it for so many years. I know how to order things. I know how to put things in what's most important to me, and you are going to have to sacrifice something. So just understanding that is going to have to happen, and whether you want that or not, then you maybe have to not be as aggressive in one area as the other, or finding something that allows you to have that freedom. Like having a 7 to 5 job doesn't give you a lot of freedom to do a bunch of other things either. So it's just communication, I think, is probably at the top of that list. Just communicating and setting realistic expectations, not expecting to work 8 hours a day and make 20 hours a day, but also like your expectation for home life needs to be set too, and then make sure everyone understands that. And it's definitely harder with the kids because now they're asking, "Where's Dad?" And I'm like, I feel horrible about that. So it's just I'm definitely kind of rotating my focus to still making good hours, but not making any crazy hours, and then just working on home stuff and coaching stuff because that's ultimately what I want to be doing.
Yeah. But well, they don't know about it, but I've seen a lot of like little quotes on the wall here. Does that just keep you motivated? Like,
Oh yeah, like I have my
the
up on my computer. I have the rankings for the company for the last 3 years, where I've been number one, top service technician. I have that taped up on my wall now 3 times because I just finished the 3rd year. And then I used to have a lot more quotes taped up on my wall, but then moved stalls and I taped up the ones that are most important to me. So I have a quote up there about winning, being the best no matter what it takes. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, somebody will outwork you and someone will outperform you. So no matter what, are you willing to give it everything you've got when you don't know if you're going to win? And so I feel like that's very important to me because I love to win. And there's a saying from a movie, and it's called The Ozarks, and it's I don't remember her name, but the lady, the girl, she's like doing something, and she basically says, if you're gonna stop me, you're gonna have to kill me. And it's like, I mean, obviously I'm not gonna die doing it, but that's my mindset. Is like, if I've set my mind out to something, like it's gonna take a mountain to stop me. Like there's gonna be something in my way that's gonna stop me.
Yeah.
So it's just like that reminds me of that. And then I recently this year I struggled a lot with like I guess you could call them haters, if you will, just people running their mouths and talking, mostly pretty much just at work and stuff like that. And so I have a quote up there about being an eagle and flying to, like the crows are the only bird that will attack an eagle, but if the eagle soars high enough, the crows can't fly that high, so the crows fall. And so I just trying to keep that in mind too. So having those daily reminders, like if I'm having a hard day, I look at my quotes or I have my awards on my shelf there, and just looking at that and remembering that like, I can do it, and I don't have to think about the negativity. I can think about the positivity, and sometimes just those easy visual reminders. If I'm having a tough time with something, then I'll write some stuff on a sticky note and stick it by my phone or stick it by my keyboard, so I can see it every day and remember. If I'm having a hard time, I see I'm like, okay, this is important. I wrote it out, I put it up, or I printed it out and put it up.
Yeah.
And so those visual reminders help me stay focused on the end goal, which as technicians is every year right now. So I don't really have like too many crazy, like far out goals. Obviously, I want to make a lot more money. I want to have, I want to have my freedom. I think that's the biggest thing is just being able to make money that I want to make, but also not being a slave to the system.
Yeah.
Which, here I am teaching other technicians how to be slaves to the system, if you will. But there's a way to. Some people love being technicians and working on cars, and there's a way you can do it where you can make a ton more money. So you don't have to sacrifice all your home time. But I think the thing here is like teaching people how to make six figures. It's a lot easier than people think. I mean, it's not hard. No matter the dealership you're at, no matter the shop you're at, if you apply yourself even just 25% more, you can get it. It's easy. I mean, I know you're probably not there yet, but trust me, when you get close, you're gonna be like, well, 5 years ago you would have never thought you'd be doing that.
Yeah, like saw a post. There was you making like 60 hours in one day. I'm like, bro, this is my whole week, bro. Jesus, bro. But I mean, then again, it's like coming in there, dude.
I mean, I stayed till like 7:30 that day.
Yeah.
I didn't come in very early, but I stayed late. I wanted to take the weekend off, and so I stayed late till I was done. And it was
like you just put in the hard work from Monday to Friday, have the weekend by yourself. Just the weekend that you have to work, basically.
It's like that, yeah. Unless I haven't done it in December, November, and October where I've put in an extra Saturday, unless like I've got like a huge job that needs to get done. That's the only circumstance. Like if I have pre-approved work, I'm not just coming in to like pull tickets anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of people, as you know, a lot of people don't want to, give me the easy way out. So if I come in to pull work, I'm usually getting all the bad tickets, or they're like, "Oh, we're busy," or "We're full. We don't have any tickets to spare," and I end up sitting around all day. So it's just a waste of my time at that point.
I feel like that's a good idea too. I mean, I've done it myself. I'm gone next Saturday just to get ready for Monday. So send a bunch of ASRs on the cars I get, and then by Monday afternoon, all approvals organized.
Yeah. I feel like I do that like on our Saturdays to work. Sometimes what I'll do is just load it up. I won't have like a crazy Saturday as far as the hours go, but I'll have like a good amount of tickets with like pending approvals or like warranty work, waiting on parts, warranty work ready to be done, like it's already diagnosed, and like just starting that week out with that bang is just motivating too.
Yeah.
You already have guaranteed work. You're not waiting like twiddling your thumbs for 3 hours on a Monday, and then before you know it, you're in a bad mindset for the whole week.
Yeah, I've caught myself a lot of times doing that, like sitting down for a whole morning or like 2 or 3 hours, and just we're already starting off with a bad week on Mondays. And I feel like Monday really sets off how your week is gonna be for most of the party. But I mean, it does set your mind to like, hey, you're gonna have a good week this week, but then again, you can't let just one day ruin the whole week.
Yeah. It all starts with that. It all start with a Monday.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's it. We'll wrap things up. I appreciate you, sir.
Much.